Shoryuflicks.
What's up, guys? Thanks for watching another episode of Shoryuflicks. My name is Maersky, that's my boy. Will. This is part 2 of our Star Wars The Force Awakens countdown. And you know we gotta go with Attack of the Clones.
Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, isn't as bad as you might remember it is. We actually got to see Anakin's development from a child to a emotional, yet at times, or more often times, irrational teenager.
You're sweating. Relax. Take a deep breath.
I haven't seen her in 10 years, Master.
Let's be realistic. Aren't all teenagers irrational? I will be very straightforward with you. I do think that the acting by Hayden Christensen as Anakin Skywalker isn't the greatest thing in the world. You could definitely tell this is his first major Hollywood film.
Where are you going? To find my mother.
Now, his lightsaber skills aren't bad. You know, for a fictional art, he looked pretty damn good doing it. But it doesn't really say the fact that a lot of times he overacted or underacted the pivotal scenes that he really needed to nail perfectly. On the same token, Natalie Portman wasn't as good as she should have been as well. Given that Natalie Portman was already at the time a very established actress, she could have done a much better job during the scenes of love and romance.
You're making fun of me.
No, I'd be much too frightened to tease a senator.
Now, as a senator in her serious parts of the film, where she had to really be the forceful politician in order to get things the way she wanted to get done, that parts were really good. But the love and romance seemed a little bit too childish for me for some reason. It just didn't come across as natural. It could be just her and Hayden Christensen didn't have that chemistry. It just didn't come up properly. Not to say it was a bad thing, but Star Wars has never really been known for its acting, let's be straightforward.
That's exactly what we do. The trouble is that people don't always agree.
On the flip side, though, Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi, stellar job. Ewan McGregor has the capabilities of portraying all sorts of roles, so his take on Obi-Wan Kenobi, along with the accent, was actually pretty damn good.
Go and find her.
Where are you going, Master? For a drink?
Another great part about this movie is the actual backdrop of Kamino, the planet in which the clones are actually made in. Now, from what I saw and what I remember now is that it looks like this planet is mostly water and rains a lot, kind of like a 24/7 Hurricane 365. They have a sun that revolves around the planet 365 times. What I like about Kamino also is that it had a very futuristic kind of setting in terms where the labs are, where they're developing the clones, along with the living quarters of Jango Fett. What I also liked about the planet Kamino was its inhabitants, the Kaminoans. They had they did look like a little bit too alienish in terms of how we on Earth see aliens. You know, the very ovalish type of nut head along the long neck. But they also had some kind of elegant beauty to them. It could have been the skin tone or their wardrobe, but I really liked the way they looked. Now, going with the whole Kamino backdrop, we also got to see Obi-Wan Kenobi duke it out with Jango Fett, who, for the most part, kind of gave it to Obi-Wan. Jango Fett really kind of, especially in the beginning of the battle scene, really did not let Obi-Wan establish any kind of offense whatsoever.
Come on, get on board!
I like watching battle scenes that take place in the rain when lightsabers are involved. I don't know if you guys ever watched the Cartoon Network series Clone Wars, especially when it's in the way beginning of it, you actually got to see Anakin Skywalker fight Asajj Ventress in the rain, which is kind of cool. You get to see actual raindrops hit the lightsaber. Whole different thing. We're not reviewing that right now. Just went off on a tangent. But watch it. Attack of the Clones can be whatever you interpret it as, but there's one thing that you have to agree with me on, is that the last half hour of this film really brings it home. The battle on Geonosis was one of the best sequences in all the Star Wars franchise. From the battle in the stadium all the way to Count Dooku fighting with Anakin and Obi-Wan at the same time, and then at one point Anakin actually wielding 2 lightsabers at the same time. But not doing it for too long, because then he lost a hand and really just was out of the battle. But after that, you got to see Obi-Wan Kenobi actually go toe-to-toe with Count Dooku, which, if you really think about it, is actually pretty impressive, considering that Count Dooku was a Jedi Master at one point, and now he's squaring off with just a regular old Jedi Knight. So The fact that he held his own is a feat in its own for this fictional character. But if you didn't like, even if you didn't like the battle scene in the stadium, or you didn't like Anakin and Obi-Wan versus Count Dooku, you had to love Yoda literally jumping in and saving the day. We've been wondering for all these years, how really of a lightsaber master is Yoda. And let me tell you, he is a master. He jumps off the walls, he does flips, spins, he just does all these crazy things with his lightsaber. And the fact, his lightsaber was probably about this big. This big. And he was fighting Count Dooku, who was quadruple his height? With quadruple the size of a lightsaber? Come on, I mean, he also absorbed Count Dooku's force lightning. I mean, how many characters in the Star Wars mythos can absorb the lightning and channel it into a ball and shoot it back? He literally threw a Hadouken out. Come on. But yeah, those are the reasons I think that Attack of Clones isn't as bad as you might remember. It actually might be better than what you remember, and has its place in the lineage of Star Wars.
For me, Episode 2 Attack of the Clones was only marginally better than Episode 1. The breakdown of Episode 2 basically is that we see Obi-Wan mentoring Anakin into a Jedi Knight, while on a new mission to protect now Senator Amidala. There are a couple of threats to her life that are foiled by the Jedi. Obi-Wan discovers the existence of the clone army. Jango Fett is introduced and battles Obi-Wan. The Jedi discover the presence of another Sith Lord. All of the Jedi take on the droid army on Geonosis. Mace Windu wields a purple lightsaber and beheads Jango Fett in front of a younger Boba Fett. Anakin and Obi-Wan battle Count Dooku. Anakin gets his hand chopped off and Obi-Wan battles Count Dooku alone. Then Yoda swoops in to save the day. Padme and Anakin fall in love, all while the clone army grows bigger, leading us to the future that we see later in Revenge of the Sith. I hated the way Anakin was portrayed as a whiny stalker, spoiled brat. Anakin basically force rapes Padme's brain in this scene.
Please don't look at me like that. It makes me feel uncomfortable.
Also, Natalie Portman's character becomes a little bit more robotic acting-wise. I hated all the love scenes, and the way the characters were developing was just not advancing the plot, and at times were just not believable. Where was the actual attack of the clones? The clones rescue all the Jedi in the movie. Doesn't make any sense. Like Will said, the only saving grace of the movie for me is the presence of Jango Fett as a link to Boba Fett in the latter movies, and the final battle between all of the Jedi and all of the battle droids. It was pretty cool to see all the different lightsabers in battle, and the final scene with Yoda is what puts it over the top as being better than the Phantom Menace. Which brings me back to my previous idea from the last review. If you omit the Phantom Menace from the prequel trilogy, and start off with the end of Attack of the Clones and move on with Revenge of the Sith, what part of the prequels are you actually missing? Again, think about it. So that wraps it up for our review on Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. My name is Maersky, this is my boy, Will. Thanks for watching this episode of Shoryuflicks. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. We'd love to hear what you think. Also follow us on Facebook at Shoryuflicks, on Instagram at Shoryuflicks, and on Twitter at SRFlicks. Thanks for watching. Adios.
Flicks.